Good morning. Welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. So I have been trying to do a live, but I've had one thing after another happen, and I've mentioned that I was building a homestead over at my childhood home, which is about a mile and a half from that meteor impact site at Bach Tower Gardens. And I've been installing a duck and a chicken habitat. So I built a chicken coop in one day, but then I had to come back the next day and I had to finish the hen boxes and stuff like that. So the chickens got into the neighbor's yard yesterday, so I had to go over there and try to catch them. So it's just a all day affair. But until I learn how chickens work, I guess it'll be it'll be a little trial and error, right? I haven't been a farmer in this lifetime, but so anyway, I wanted to talk about this astral experience that I had the 11th, the 12th, and 13th, and I drew up this diagram, and I'm gonna turn the phone around and we're gonna go over this diagram because of my experience that I had on the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. I was in astral on the moon. I was in the astral on the moon, and we were decommissioning technology that was there. There's some technology that's been running on the moon that I'm not sure exactly all of it, but there was some type of technology that that was disconnected, or like I said, it was like decommissioned, but it was 3 days worth of work. So I'm not sure exactly, maybe somebody has more to add to this from their astral experiences with stuff going on in the moon. But I started doing a little bit of digging around yesterday to see if I'm the only one that's seen this, or were there other people that might have had bits and pieces to this. And I ran across, her name is, I think it's Lily Nova. It's Lily Nova, I think it is. Well, anyway, she was talking about Area 51 being on fire, and then she was talking about some kind of thing that through the SSP programs about some type of fight or engagement, military engagement that happened on the moon. So I don't know. And then interestingly is that Elon launches some stuff like a rocket or something into the moon surface, which I kind of thought was interesting because that was right at the time that I was working in astral on the moon. We're decommissioning that technology. So I'm wondering what that has to do with it. There's a reason that they did that when this was being done in the higher realms. So I don't know. So there was technology that was decommissioned on the moon, and I believe that it has to do with the fact that we've ascended out of the current triangulation that we're in, because we have been in this type of overlay, energetic overlay, and the moon is has been used to bring people through to recycle them because they were ascending. Guys, if you don't get to 13th archetype before you die, you come right back. You get recycled through the moon. That's how it rolls. You don't get to graduate unless you've done the work. And it's just plain and simple. All right, so let's turn this around here so I can talk a little bit about this diagram. Okay, so this is how our universe began, how we began, okay? So the source of all things is coming through the sun, okay? And at one time, the sun had dual aspects of itself, okay? It was masculine and feminine separated. And the interesting thing is that I always get these downloads in the morning, and usually they're songs. Like if it's something that Theo wants me to know, he'll give me a song. And I've been getting the song, You Are the Sun, I Am the Moon, by Neil Diamond. And it really does sound like this whole cosmic event right here. So the story of Kronos talks about how there was this castration and all this stuff, and basically that's how we got time. Okay, well, this is what it actually is. And Jason and Archaics doesn't quite go into this type of thing being exactly what the vapor canopy is, but he does talk in depth about the vapor canopy and all the cosmic events that surround all of the changes that are on our time cycle clock. He talks about these time periods, okay? And he puts the pseudoscientists that we have that are pushed into the mainstream narrative, who are, you know, these traditional guys that just are looking at a timetable and they're saying that Giza's this many thousand years old and all this stuff. We're on time cycles, guys. We're on time cycles. And we've had Phoenix events that have come over and over again. And the way that I'm starting to understand it, because Jason has like thousands and thousands of hours worth of material. So it's a lot to go through. So, you know, and he does like 2-hour live streams, 3-hour live streams at a time. And I can't watch that long. So, you know, I was interested in his information that he put together on the Phoenix. And then I found one video that he has kind of dedicated to the Phoenix. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that he said that the Phoenix is actually one of these planets. And I was like, well, that is really interesting, because I kept thinking that we did have 13 planets. We had 13 planets in our system, but some of them are not visible in the three-dimensional space. So he's saying that Phoenix is a planet. So I think that's very, very interesting. So all of these cosmic events and celestial bodies and things, comets, all these things are pre-programmed on the celestial clock, guys. They come like clockwork. This is why they used to watch the stars, because they want to know what was coming. All right, so the source of all, God's source, right, was emanating in this dualistic fashion of the sun. We had the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is the dark sun, okay? The masculine is the solar sun, okay? So together, they created our vapor canopy that we had in the past, when we had our original timeline, when there was a film that was over the sun. This was because this was mother and father together, united. It created like a sunglasses type effect, okay? All right, so when we talk about the story of Kronos, actually what we're talking about is this situation right here, where mother and father, masculine and feminine of the solar aspect, separated. Mother, the feminine aspect, she then basically like sacrificed herself to fall into this three-dimensional space, okay? So in order for this to happen, for us all to experience this reality, right, in a physical body, our divine spark, and take our hero's journey through this timeline, this had to happen, because we have to circle back through mother before we can go into a higher expanded field, okay? We have to reunite with source, and then we are able to rethread our tapestry with a more intricate type pattern and colors, because we're going into expanded archetypes. All right, so when we had the fall here, what they call the fall, this was an intentional setup here, okay? So a moon had to be installed, because when we had the separation here, we had to lock our tidal wave. We had to lock the water, because mother became the emerald heart core of earth, okay? She is the emerald core of earth, and this emerald core is beryl, and this beryl framework stays relatively stable, and it allows other types of elements to alchemize with it without rebuilding the entire structure of itself. So this is interesting, is that the main alchemy of beryl that's, you know, in emeralds, is this type of alchemical material, that the basics of it never changes. You can never change the entire structure of it. And this is one of the reasons why they can never remove Mother Earth's timeline. No matter how hard they try, it is fixed. It is fixed because that is her alchemical structure as the emerald heart of our Earth's core. All right, so, and then we have, of course, the toroidal fields that are coming out above and below Earth. And then we have our moon. Our moon is a reflective control technology that was put in place to control our water, and also to be like a, it's not a trap. See, we got to stop calling this a reincarnation trap. You're not being caught in a reincarnation trap in the moon. What you're doing is you're being forced to reincarnate because you haven't become the 13th archetype. And you didn't go back, you didn't use this particular life cycle to go back and reconnect with Source. You have to reconnect with Mother Earth. And when you reconnect with Mother Earth, that opens the doorway for you for your 13th archetypal ascension. And all of that comes to you like clockwork. Like clockwork. When you get involved in reconnecting with Earth, that's when the magic happens, guys. Okay? So the emerald heart core of Earth is compassion, but with disconcernment, you know, because a lot of times you can have no disconcernment and just act like an idiot. So it also is loyalty, truth, and enduring love, wisdom from the mind to the heart, and clear perception and prophecy. So basically, this lunar technology here that we've been using to have people coming back through that weren't meeting the minimum standard, right? This is like school graduation, right? If you didn't pass, you come back. If you don't pass, you come back. I guess because you have free will, you could choose not to come back, and then therefore you would go into the midway space, right? Where you're occupying space with no form. But if you want to have a physical body, you have to reincarnate back into Earth, and you have to go through the hero's journey again. So basically, when we come through and until we ascend the planet, we're cycling through basic archetypes separately. Okay, we're going from father to mother to child, warrior, healer, hero, etc. Okay, and so then after we build the foundational framework, then we're unlocking more expanded, complex archetypes. Okay, so instead of just being the warrior, it'd be the warrior healer. Or instead of being just the mother, it would be the mother sovereign. They're just embodied, hired, ordered archetypes. And we don't have access to those cheat codes until we do the fundamentals. So it's like you trying to do advanced trigonometry when you don't even know basic math, right? You can't do it. You have to learn the basic steps, and this is what Earth is, okay? So the 13th is the completed first cycle, threaded back to Source for expansion or for phase shifting, guys. So this is just a quick little video. It's only been 13 minutes, but I really wanted to show this so we can, you know, really start to put these puzzle pieces together. And if everybody puts their mind together, you know, we can work together to make Earth ascended. And something's already happened here because this technology has been disconnected. It's decommissioned because we're not using this anymore. We're not using this anymore. These people are not all having to recycle. And maybe this is why I saw that mass exodus of souls leaving the planet. Let me see. I wrote the date on that, didn't I? This was what I seen. I don't know. It's been some weeks back, about 3 weeks back. I saw this mass exodus of souls, and I wonder if this has to do with all the cataclysmic events that are happening on Earth. You know, people have the subconscious, or their contracts come up, or they have, you know, they have this subconscious ability to choose. You know, if your contract is up, you leave the Earth, right? If you are reincarnating, you're coming back. Or if you are just waiting for the time to be able to ascend, then you would be ascending now, right? These would be higher dimensional souls that have been come through for the timeline to bring the ascension. Maybe this is why they got to leave. I'm not quite sure. I mean, maybe this is the fact that we're going to have a lot of souls leaving the planet because we're going to have major cataclysmic events. And so these people are leaving their physical form behind, and they're ascending. So, yeah, I did have these planets on here, these expanded planetary fields on here, but I don't have Phoenix on here. But it would be interesting because that would create 13 planets. Ones you can't see and ones you can see. If we're counting Maldek as being uninhabitable in the third dimensional space, right? Because Maldek exploded. The Lyrans exploded Maldek because they would rather, as the family of Bruce says, you know, they'll never submit to tyranny. So, you know, and George Washington said that he would die on his feet before he'd surrender on his knees. So, you know, maybe they made it inhabitable and uninhabitable in the third dimensional space, but it's still a dimensional space and higher dimensions of frequency. Just something to think about. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Thank you for spending 17 minutes with me this morning. I went out and voted today. Today is such an important day for the state of Florida. You know, we've got big developers coming in here. They want to put data centers in here. They're overdeveloping Central Florida, you know, and the reason is because they know that Florida's going to be flooded, and Florida's going to return to one of the other Floridas, because Florida has been many Floridas. That the only part that will be above sea level in the state of Florida is going to be on the Crystalline Ridge, which is Central Florida. And this is where I live. This was a meteor impact site. And Bach Tower Gardens, I know I keep saying this, 82 degrees by 28 degrees. X marks the spot. That is a meteor there. It's called Iron Mountain. And Ron DeSantis just moved to that exact same spot. And I live in a podunk town, guys. But all the orange groves are being pulled out, and they're developing everything. And, you know, my spidey sense has been going off for a long time. You know, so we have proof that citrus greening was not caused by the greening flies, that it was caused by the agricultural companies like Mosaic, Ben Hill Griffin, Cargill, Procter & Gamble. They all were here. My dad worked for all of these companies. My dad has emphysema now. He's had cancer. He got diagnosed at stage 4. My brother died from cancer. My other brother, he died because he had a stroke. So, you know, it's not a coincidence that all these people that work at these companies, they get cancer. And I have known so many people that have lived by orange groves that have died from cancer. And so, you know, they're putting all of these homes on top of these orange groves. But it's been proven that citrus greening was not caused by the greening flies. It was caused by these agricultural companies, right? And so they got money. These citrus developers got money from the government every year in large grants for citrus greening, for the citrus greening fly. And not one of them went back and did any kind of repair work on the groves. They didn't try to strengthen them. They did, and I never seen one single grove out here with amended soil, no organic material, nothing. You know, I find it amazing that they, so many of them sat back. I haven't seen people picking in Florida I couldn't even tell you when. Since 15 years ago, they haven't picked fruit off these trees. They let it all fall to the ground, and God forbid if somebody pulls over and picks some fruit off the tree, they'll charge you $250. $250. No one in Florida should ever have to pay for a damn orange. Anyway, I voted for Matt the Welder, and I voted for Bobby Williams because we got to take Florida back, guys. We cannot allow this stuff to happen to our state. Florida is the Garden of Eden, guys. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff underground here in Florida. Just because we're surrounded by water does not mean that there's not a subterranean Florida. Guys, it's time everybody woke up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. So with that, when you come and find me, I'll be here because we're living in the past, present, and the future all at the same time. You got to get outside, guys. We got to get off the electronics and detox. You got to get out in the sun and get your codes. Your codes are coming in through the sun. They're activating your cells. You need to get outside. Get up and get outside in the morning and get outside in the evening. You got to go outside and get your downloads. All of this stuff that comes from the sun is what's activating us right now to phase shift. And so it's really important that we start working on getting our food supply put together. You guys need to, if you haven't started a community garden, or if you don't have a little garden in your yard, or if you're not like container gardening, you got to start, guys. You got to start. The food system is going to just get worse and worse and worse. And we need to be able to sustain ourselves and support each other through this transition. Okay. We don't want to be having people in a state of hysteria, right? We need to be proactive and not reactive. So, you know, everybody take the initiative to get with your community and try to get a little community garden together, or find the one neighbor that does have that little extra piece of property on their yard that everybody could work together and create a garden at somebody else's house. You know, become friends, reach into your communities, guys. We got to start standing up for each other and with each other. You know, all of these things that are going on in the media, this is all to poison the well and turn us against each other. This Nolan Wells thing, this is one thing, you know, that's a hot bucket. If they can keep people hating each other on a false reality of who we are because of our skin color, you know what? We got to grow up. We got to grow up. And if people can't grow up and smell the coffee, then all I can tell you is that you deserve everything that's coming to you. If you guys don't wake up and realize that these surveillance cameras have been being put all around us for years now, the last few years, and it is getting progressively worse. Every week I'm seeing these trucks. They are turning us into a surveillance state. And the sheriff's department is going to start doing all of their police work on their behinds, guys. There's going to be, oh my gosh, this is not going to be a good scenario. You know, for those of you who say, well, they found an Amber Alert kid with flock cameras. Yeah, well, you know what? What about all the other people's rights are being violated? I don't feel like living in a state of constant being stalked, because that's what it is. You're living in a state of constantly being, you know, antagonized, watched. It's not a good kind of energy to be projecting on people. You know, AI is a co-creator along with humans. It's not our police state. It is not our overseer. Guys, we cannot allow this to happen. So with that, I am going to get off my soapbox, but it is so important today. If you live in Florida, you have to go and vote. We have to take control of this ship, guys. It is going straight into the shitter if we don't. So with that, I love you all, guys. And let's make sure that we're doing the right thing and that we're getting out and voting and we're supporting our neighborhoods and we're taking care of the planet. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.